So, for this episode of Multiple Brokerage Personalities, I'm going to be talking about my employer 401k. This is probably one of the most slept on retirement savings accounts, in my opinion, because for me, I love it, but a lot of my employees at the practice that I work at don't take advantage of it. And some of them don't take advantage of it just from lack of understanding of it. When they get the paperwork, they don't know what to do with it. And so instead of asking for help, by and large, they just ignore it and then move forward, when in fact, they might be able to have enough of a financial situation to at least get 1 or 2% of their paycheck into this without adversely affecting their lifestyle. And so one of my goals is hopefully trying to create personal finance content and financial literacy educational material to help not just my staff, but people in general to be less afraid of the employer 401k. So the employer 401k is a special account, especially if your employer is doing a match. A match is essentially free money. That free money, though, comes with one catch, and that catch is that you have to invest in yourself. So this means that you're going to allocate either a percentage or a dollar amount from your paycheck and just shunt that money into a retirement savings account where it will hopefully be invested and then grow and compound with time. This is just basically a pay raise to yourself without doing any extra hours, any extra work. You just have to make a small sacrifice on the front end to take home less money through your paycheck, but to then take that money, invest it, and grow it for yourself. And so the employer 401k with the match should be honestly the first place you start at when trying to build your retirement savings account. If you don't have a match, then I would change my previous statement to say the Roth IRA should be your number one go-to to build your retirement savings account. The reason being is the Roth, especially through Fidelity or other kind of retirement savings accounts, they should generally have no fees. It should have no fees, and it gives you a lot more options into what you invest. So for my Fidelity Roth IRA, I'm able to invest in stocks and bonds and anything like you would on Public, Robinhood, SoFi, any other kind of just regular individual brokerage account. Whereas my retirement savings accounts through my employer 401k, I have a limited number of funds. And honestly, I'm not too thrilled about any of them other than my Vanguard target date. So for me, I try to max out the 19,500 and the full match year after year. And honestly, it's pretty simple the way I invest in it. The way I invest in it is I simply go ahead, set aside as much money as I can until I max it out, which usually takes me until about August or September, and I just put it in a target date fund. The beauty of a target date fund is that as it's further away from retirement, you're going to be investing in stocks, things with theoretically more risk, but a higher upside in terms of growth. This is going to allow you to grow your money into a larger amount that you can then live off of when you come to retirement age. But as you get closer to retirement age, so for me, the Vanguard target date 2050, as I get closer to 2050, it's going to rebalance and reallocate things towards more bonds. By putting in more bonds, less stocks, I'm going to be having less risk, less volatility, so that money is going to be more likely to be there in its full amount. Hopefully, we don't have any more 2020 events like we did last year around the time that I'm trying to retire, because it really would suck to get to where you think you're close to retirement and have the rug pulled out from underneath you. And that's part of the reason why bonds exist. This is going to be a little bit safer, a little less likely to see your money just kind of disappear overnight. And that's why you'd want to do a target date fund, in my opinion. It offers you that automation, the rebalancing, and it's generally a low expense ratio. So it kind of checks all the boxes for me. The other benefit of an employer 401k that's kind of slept on is the idea of set and forget and dollar cost averaging. You get a paycheck, mine is every 2 weeks, and a percentage amount is taken out every paycheck. So you get that set amount, and your paycheck is going to be at a set time. So you get a set amount at a set time, and you have to select what you're investing in. So for me, like I said, Vanguard target date 2050, I'm just putting money over and over and over again, regardless of what the market is doing. So that is the purest form of dollar cost averaging. And because it's automatically set when I just file with my HR or our kind of online account, I don't have to think about it. It just happens automatically. That's why the returns on these tend to probably do better than if you were trying to manage it yourself. Emotions get the best of you, panic selling happens, and so this is a great kind of foundation for your retirement savings. I'm not saying it's going to be enough. You're probably going to still want to do a Roth IRA. You're still going to want to have an individual brokerage account, but it is a great start. And for those of you that aren't doing it because you think it's too confusing, feel free to drop a comment. I'm happy to walk through things, try to answer things. If you want to see me on TikTok, I can make quick videos as replies. Just find a way to get some more information so that you feel comfortable, because an employer 401k is a great way to invest in your future and in living comfortably in retirement. You don't want to be dependent on Social Security. You do not want to be dependent on a very small fixed income. And so by a little bit of planning, a little bit of sacrifice now, with the benefit of time and compounding, you'll be able to grow a rather large retirement savings account. And so that's why the employer 401k to me is a fantastic account. It's one that you definitely want to maximize. If you don't have an employer match, okay, I said that Roth IRA is your number one, but the minute you hit that 6,000, you want to go ahead and put it into an employer 401k. But within the employer 401k, there's still kind of two different options. So for my work, I'm able to put it in a traditional, or I can do it in a Roth. And so we're going to delve into that a little bit more. So the traditional is funded through pre-tax money. So for me in a high income tax bracket, that means I get to sidestep taxes on the money that I put into it, up to $19,500. And so that $19,500 is just kind of pre-tax money, so it doesn't actually require all that money that if I were to do a Roth to fund it. And what I mean by that is with a Roth, with it being post-tax money, I have to not only do the $19,500, but also the money I would have paid on taxes for that. And so that's a little bit more money that I don't take home. But for the traditional part, the thought being is that you're going to be in the highest income bracket for taxes when you start contributing. And then when you come to retirement, 59 and a half or older, you're able to withdraw it. You're probably going to be in a lower tax bracket. And so that's going to be a lot of savings. This isn't always the case. If you're kind of in that middle, it's not a clear-cut answer. But if you're young like me and in a high tax bracket, for me personally, when I do the math in my head, I think it's probably best for me to still stick with the Roth. I didn't do that for 2021 because I was a little concerned about Biden and his tax plan. Honestly, it was probably a little bit unwarranted, and I probably should have stuck with the Roth IRA for my contributions for 2021, but I've done the Roth for all of 2020, and I'll probably just go back to the Roth for 2022. But it's going to allow me to just build up a traditional account. When I do finally retire, let's say I want to take a year off and drop into a lower tax bracket, I could just easily do a Roth conversion at some point in time with that kind of money. But the other one is going to be the Roth version of employer 401k. This is funded with post-tax money. Post-tax money means that to get the maximum of the $19,500, you not only have to do the $19,500, but you also have to do the amount of money that would be for the income tax bracket of yours to kind of fund that. So it'd be $19,500 plus that tax amount to get that fully funded account. But the beauty with the Roth, though, is like the Roth IRA, is that it grows tax-free, just like the traditional. But when it comes time to withdraw and pay yourself, kind of after the age of 59 and a half, you're going to get it tax-free. Whereas with the traditional, you're going to have to pay your taxes at whatever your income tax bracket is. And so for me, even as a high income earner, I would rather have it in a Roth because I am 33. I have a lot of years to compound and grow. I'd rather pay my high taxes right now and just let it compound, let it grow, and then just withdraw all of that money tax-free. But that's just my personal preferences. When I do the math, that's what I think works best for me. I could be wrong. I'm more than happy to live with the consequences for me. So you should do your own homework, do your own due diligence. But whatever it is, try to invest in employer 401k. Whether you decide to do a traditional or a Roth, just do it. That's how you kind of get started. It's a great thing to do. And so if you have any questions for me, again, leave it in the comments. Happy to make out videos either here on TikTok. If you want to read a little bit more, I actually have a blog. It's just www.ctsshaw.com/blog. And that's just where I go ahead and talk to, I don't know who's actually reading it, but I'm talking to people as if I were a new investor. What do I wish I had known? All right, so check it out. Go ahead and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for listening.